If you're confused about earned value analysis, or maybe you just don't even know what it is, I have you covered in this video because we're going to talk about earned value analysis in project management. Earned value analysis definition. Now, you know me, I always feel we need to all get on the same page. So guess what we're going to take a look at? We're going to take a look at the PMBOK. This is what us all project managers look at. This is what we study. So let's first look at this definition. Now you'll know why I take what's in the PMBOK and I break it down for you, because this is the definition, all right? The definition is earned value analysis. Earned value analysis compares a performance measurement baseline to the actual schedule and cost performance. It integrates the scope baseline with the cost baseline and schedule baseline to form the performance measurement baseline. It develops and monitors 3 key dimensions for each work package and control account. All right, so what does that really mean? What does it really mean? Earned value analysis is a technique using formulas to understand where are you in the project. And by looking at it from that perspective and doing your calculations, are you on track, not going to be on track? So it becomes a very valuable tool to understand your progress in your project. It actually gives you some really good pieces of information. The cost difference, where you are at the end of your project, and how far ahead or behind you are in your project. Before we get into the pros and cons of earned value analysis, I have for you something really cool, and that's a checklist on how to ensure your projects don't fail. I'm going to share with you how to get that very shortly. When to use earned value analysis. All right, not every project needs to have EVA. So when do you use it? They are fantastic for large scale, complex projects over a very long period of time, because I promise you, you have a lot of timeline to be monitoring. You also have a lot of budget, and you want to make sure your scope stays true. So there are some really good specific call outs that EVA has. Assessing project cost performance. What EVA allows you to do is allows you to see what it is that you baseline your project costs, what are the actual costs, and what are your expected costs. And this becomes really important for those large scale projects, because you may not be able to proceed if you don't have your budget on track, or if for whatever reason something is taking a lot more out of your budget, and this project is very dependent, particularly like construction, because you have a lot of suppliers and contractors who have to execute the physical work, then you really have to ensure that you are tight and you understand everything going on with that budget. You really want to do that project cost analysis so you can understand the issues that are potentially starting to rise to the top. Another thing that EVA does for these large scale projects is actually allows you to make better project decisions. You're not guessing what your project is doing or what it is that it needs, because when you do EVA, you're very clear with scope, budget, and time, and you're constantly doing that analysis. There's a lot of formulas that you pull out of it in order to actually figure out where you're at. This is why large scale projects truly need EVA, because you're projecting into the future and you need to be able to make the right decisions, because that budget, you need to have it last, and it could be for years that you need to have that last. So something that is really important and great for decision making. And it also helps you improve scheduling control, because you can use EVA, a lot of those formulas, to understand where are you actually from a percentage complete perspective. Because without this, when we take a look at, hey, how far are you along? It's kind of like my thumb is in the air to gather the wind distance, and I think it's about 50%. Well, when you have very complex projects, you can't think it's 50%. You need to know it is 50%, or is it 55%, or is it 35%? And the best way to do that is you need to use your numbers and really pull out the formula so you can understand exactly where you're at and ensure, do you have to back off on something else? Do you have to maybe expedite a schedule? And that's why EVA is very powerful for large, complex projects. When not to use earned value analysis. This one, it's interesting because you don't have to use it. And in fact, I always say for much smaller scale projects, you probably don't need to use it. Why is that? Because I just said how great it is. It's a really, really good tool. But again, you need a lot of data in order to do your calculations. And if you're on much smaller scale projects, then you don't have a lot of data necessarily to work with. Not to say you can't do it, but you kind of have to think of everything else that you're doing as well. Because part of the issue with earned value analysis is it's a lot of work. So on top of all the project management work you're doing, if you're on a smaller scale project, you're also doing this other work. Large scale projects, don't forget, have really huge teams and they have people dedicated to doing specific things. And when I do large scale projects, I usually have my finance person and my scheduler who is looking over all that stuff, and they bring that information to me and then we discuss it collectively to figure out where the project's going to go. But when you have smaller projects, it's work. It's a lot of paperwork. So you have to balance out your needs and how much time you have in a day. Because project management is not about pushing paper. Yeah. I know there is a lot of paperwork that we have to do. And believe you me, it's worthwhile. But you have to balance about how much you're actually going to do. So sometimes in some projects, it's okay to have what I call the guesstimation. I'm okay with some projects not to have the exact values of everything, but a very good rough estimation that's close enough. And if I really need to do a deep dive, I can do it, but not something that I'm going to be using every day, which is going to take up a lot of energy and effort. So something just to understand and consider what's going to be right for you if you're going to use earned value analysis in your project. Now that you know all about EVA, you need to make sure you know all about projects and how they potentially fail. And I have it here for you in this free download. All you have to do under this video is go to the link and get this download. It's super simple and it's free for you. Make sure you watch this video next. It's a step-by-step video on how to write a project plan. On that note, if you could like this video, subscribe to my channel, it tells YouTube we're doing a good job. See you at the next video.